Welcome. This is my special guest today. Tell
Very-
everybody who you are.
I'm her husband, Mark.
And he was going to say he's very special.
I think they can see that.
I think that you were going to say that. Go ahead. You can drink your tea on camera. He's drinking his tea.
It's okay.
He is quintessential Englishman here. We both wore red. We didn't plan it this way, but here we are.
It is what it is.
It is. So I asked my dear husband to come on today because he is on a journey too, just like me. He actually started his journey before I did. And we've been married 20 years in April.
Yeah, that's for murder.
And he's also very funny. Try not to be too funny here. Yeah, we'll be married for 20 years in April. And for our whole marriage, we have both been going up and down in our weight. True? And I've talked a lot about on my channel about my journey and what how my experience with obesity and losing and gaining weight. You can see the videos down below where I talk about all that stuff. So I just wanted to get your side of this, your story, not even a side of a story, but your actual story, because you have a similar story to me. And
where do I begin? In the womb?
You can. You were a big baby.
I was.
Go lay down.
I was a chubby bubba.
It's our dogs. So just tell them a little about yourself.
Always been the big kid. Came to America. I wasn't as big. Same size, but in America it's not as big as in England.
There's more, even 20 years ago, there was more fat acceptance in the United States than in Europe.
In England it was very... and
he couldn't even find clothes in England. Yes. He'd have to order everything on a catalog.
Yeah, so it was interesting. It was fairly liberating coming here in that respect. But anyway, so about 18 years ago, I guess, 2004, I think it was, 2003, October.
Yeah, 2003. Mm-hmm.
October, November time, I had gastric bypass, the Roux-en-Y surgery the first time.
Mm-hmm. How much did you weigh when you had that surgery?
525 pounds.
525 pounds. So I'll put in some wedding photos. You can see here's our wedding picture.
Yes, I was a whopper.
I loved him. I was much thinner too. I was the thinnest.
She liked British beef. Anyway,
such a cheeky monkey.
And I lost like 225 pounds in a matter of not even 18 months, like just over a year, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that you think led you to being obese? What are some of your like for me, I talk about binging. I'm a binge eater, and
I would eat junk food all the time rather than regular meals.
That is a true story.
Candy. It was diet soda, but I don't know of any skinny people that drink diet soda, so I think there could be some linkage there, but I'm not a scientist.
So you didn't eat healthy foods?
Not at all.
You eat
no.
Processed junk food. Pretty much that's
candy,
your diet.
I would eat candy for dinner sometimes, just because.
5-pound bag M&Ms.
Yeah, I didn't really care too much. Anyway, so lost 225 pounds, and Eureka, I was cured. Apparently, anybody who's done weight loss surgery knows that's not true. And so I didn't make any effort. I didn't exercise. I just thought this is easy, but it comes to a screeching halt. Your body's like no, and gradually I managed to out-eat it. I started with the dumping, which is the whole thing, and your blood sugar dives. It's not pleasant, but I was that dysfunctional with my eating that I would put up with that and learned to out-eat it. Started drinking soda again after a couple of years. Didn't drink soda for like 2 years. Never liked water. I've never liked anything, And so started drinking diet soda again, and that, of course, caused me to be able to eat more. And gradually, I just put the weight back on.
Because your little pouch got bigger.
Yeah, you can stretch your pouch out. And I've done Jenny Craig before. I lost 100 pounds. I've done keto before, lost 60, 80 pounds. And so I finally got to the point I was like 535 plus pounds again.
You were 535 again?
435.
Oh, 400. So he never went all the way back up
No,
to
but
500.
I was getting there.
But
yeah.
he could have.
I was eating cheese. It's like a whole box. I mean...
So I think having been your wife, as long as I have been, longest wife you've ever had.
Bless you.
Only wife.
And your wife.
Yeah, I would say that some of your...
Cheers.
some of your triggers or some of the things that what's the word I'm looking for?
Causation of why.
Yeah. Some of the big things that I see as your obstacles are sedentary, which is one of mine, and the junk food. Just the not eating healthy meals, but eating, snacking, grazer. And not even grazing is the name of the right word. It's more like grazing like an elephant.
I could put a cow to shame with my grazing.
Yeah, like
I'd always have a soda open. It wouldn't matter what time of day or night. I'd drink coffee first thing, and then from then on.
How many sodas do you think you drink in a day?
8 to 10, probably
8 to 10 a day.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know,
But anyway, then because I'd always been pretty healthy. I never had any problems, with comorbidities as such. And I think that didn't help.
He is 6'1".
Yeah, there was no wake up calls for me. There was no like, oh, you've got dangerous high blood pressure, you've got diabetes. Well, that started to come once I hit my mid 40s and hit towards 50. That started to come, and so I had some things to worry about, and I was suddenly on medications. And so I got to the point where I wanted to, and having children was a big thing too. I want to be around, because I'm a little older.
He's a little older than me.
Hard to believe, I know.
But tell them what you told my dad when you asked to marry me.
Well, there's a depending on the time of the year, there's an 11 or 12 year age gap. And I said to him, don't worry about the age gap because I'm very immature. Apparently that didn't help.
I still married him.
Yeah. He didn't shoot me right there. But anyway, so having children later in life as well, I want to be around to at least see them out of college. I don't want to be, because my mother died when I was 17, so it's not fun at any time, but so that was part of my motivation for researching another procedure, medically assisted procedure.
So you decided about a year ago, maybe.
A little over a year ago.
That you were gonna again have weight loss surgery.
Yes, and I didn't know what that looked like. Because I went back to it wasn't the same surgeon. My original surgeon had retired, but it was a guy that he had been partners with at one time. There was some connection.
He's the doctor who did my gastric.
And he said I had a couple of options. One was having my Roux-en-Y like retightened. They can retighten it, restitch it.
Your pouch.
But he didn't. Yeah, the pouch. He didn't think that was the best option. It's an unusual procedure. Not many people do it, but he, in essence, took down my Roux-en-Y back to a normal anatomy. Because with Roux-en-Y, they don't take anything away. They just replant.
They staple your little pouch.
We can put a diagram or a pie chart or something somewhere.
Here's a picture.
Yeah, here's a picture. And then he put my anatomy back to what it was, and then he did a sleeve.
A gastric
sleeve, which is very popular now.
It is the weight loss surgery.
Yeah, it's a gold standard now. Roux-en-Y was a gold standard, and Roux-en-Y is still done. If you're for the heavier people, it does make you, because you get some malabsorption, which I ended up with anemia and stuff, but that's another side story. I mean, I don't regret either of the surgeries. I regret not learning the first time, so I didn't have to go through a second surgery, because my second surgery was not pleasant. I didn't do well afterwards, recovery-wise. I was very weak and very.
It took him a long time to get any energy back.
But I've now dropped about 100.
All right, hold on a second. So, you had your gastric revision,
yes,
March 2020, 10 years to the day that I had my gastro banding, March 10th.
And a couple of days before COVID hit, really.
Right, when all that craziness
happened. I was in hospital and when the COVID restrictions started, so that was fun.
Crazy. Anyway, so you had the surgery. How much did you weigh when you had the surgery?
I'd lost a little bit beforehand because you have to do a restricted diet. They want to see you lose weight because you have to jump through the hoops with insurance. And so I think I was down to about 410, 420, something like that.
Okay.
And I lost weight pretty quickly afterwards, not as quick as the first time because it's a different surgery.
Different surgery.
And my body was also like, hey, we're not playing that game again. So your body doesn't... Revisions are never as... I don't want to say as good. Because losing weight quickly, it's great. It makes you feel great, but it's not the end game, is it?
No.
Because if this is going to be a lifelong lifestyle change, losing it quickly does not help. And I lost the first 100 pounds, 7 months? 6 months? Yeah, it was pretty simple. It would come off. I'd jump on the scale once a week and lose 6-7 pounds. Great, Some weeks nothing, some weeks 10 pounds. Depends. Right. Then it kind of grinds to a halt. My body got to the point where it was like, nah, we're good. So I've been doing keto for a couple of months now, 6 weeks maybe, and intermittent fasting. I tried intermittent fasting first, get it in the right order. That worked for a couple of weeks, then it stopped, and I was only doing the 16 and 8.
16 fasting, 8
eating. 8 eating. And that worked great for me. Did no problem with it. Then that stopped. So then I started keto without fasting. Got adjusted. My body got used to the keto.
The ketones kicked on.
Yeah, but then that slowed down. So now I'm doing both. I'm doing not every day, and I just pick the days when I want to do it when I feel like it. 20 to 21 hour fasting. I'll eat the last thing about 8 o'clock at night, and then I won't eat again until dinner time the next day. And it's working. It's doing good.
So what's your total weight loss so far?
It's about 137 to 8-ish. Depends.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and I
get under 300. We're in the under 300.
I
for the first time in our marriage, I think we're both under 300 at the same time.
I look good. No, kidding.
We did not coordinate our outfits either. We're just both in red.
I'm still morbidly obese.
Oh, yes.
But I've got no... After the revision, my blood pressure problems went away. My blood sugar problems went away. I'm still on some medication, but I'm 56 years old and a half. It's not unusual apparently to be on a small dose of blood pressure. So anyway.
So what are some things that you learned? So he had his surgery in March. And I saw him doing great. He's made a lot of changes, which we'll talk about in a minute.
Exercise and mainly.
Yes, and I've just seen him, he's been my inspiration. I've just seen him really, soar. He's done so well. And, it's so hard when you've been overweight your whole life. Yeah. And we have no recollection of what it's like to be normal size.
Yeah, I don't do normal.
We have no idea.
I've always been like making fun of myself so that others don't do it, although they do anyway,
Like to think about, we talked about last night about next December going to New York City and like going to Broadway and seeing a show. And the first thought that came into his mind was, the seats are going to be too small. I'm not going to be able to fit in those seats. Like, even when we were engaged to be married, he's like, I can't fit on the airplane. I'm like, what do you mean?
Well, I've never been on an airplane, so I
You're
assume.
a one person. How big are you?
Yeah.
But those are the things that an obese person thinks
about.
Yeah,
my mom. I don't think in the same way.
That normal size.
Like when you go to a cookout
size.
and people are like, "Oh, here's a folding chair." I used to be like, "Oh, just stand here like an idiot instead." And now I don't worry about it so much.
Yeah.
It still goes through my mind, but it's not a crushing concern that it once was.
Right. So we don't know what that's like. Mm-mm. It'll be exciting.
But you've always had it's always bothered you less.
Yes, we've always had very different outlooks. Like I've always been very positive, very body positive. I know I'm beautiful. I know that I look cute. I know that I am attractive. I've had no problem, no matter what size I am, with how I look and how I interact in the world. You, on the other hand, have had the opposite side.
Yes, and I've never really had anybody tell me. I mean, my dad wasn't around much, but he never told me I was fat and useless or anything. But I guess the rhetoric got into my brain somehow.
He's got that loop going in his
head. Which I think I've broken somewhat now. I've interrupted it a bit, put it that way.
Right.
It's always going to be there.
So this kind of leads into what you've done differently. So that's one of the things is the emotional side of the negative self-talk.
Yeah, I sought therapy and didn't really go that well, but it was helpful.
Helped you learn some cognitive.
Yeah, I also don't think I'm cured this time. That was a big mistake, thinking, "Oh, I'm cured," because I'm not suggesting that losing the weight the way I did medically, with a medical procedure, a surgical procedure, is as hard as not doing it, by doing it yourself, by eating sensibly and exercising. But if I could have done that, I would have done that.
Well, here's the thing. People who think that having weight loss surgery is the easy way out don't know the whole story.
No, and I'm not suggesting that it's easy, but it's a different journey.
It's a different journey. It's just an additional tool that you have. Like this treadmill right here. If I never use this treadmill, it's useless.
There's
a scarf on it right now. It's a coat rack. It's a tool that we own that neither of us are using.
Well, we've owned it that long that we wondered what the beeping was the other night because we didn't recognize the noise.
And so that's what weight loss surgery can be for some people. It can be a tool that you either use the way it's supposed to be used.
Yeah, it's a toolbox.
Or you don't use it.
It's actually like an array
of... Or you misuse it.
It's like a toolbox, but if you don't open that toolbox and use any of the tools, it's just
a toolbox. Exactly. Yeah. So those people who've had weight loss surgery, they didn't take a shortcut. They didn't take an easy way out. They just used a tool he still has to work hard every day.
Yeah.
Every day, it's still a choice on what to put in your body and how to move your body and how to talk to yourself.
The amount of times the wheels fell off of the weight loss wagon, and I would look back and I could never figure out what it was. And I still can't. I still can't tell you why one day I'm chugging along, I'm doing really good, and the next day I'm eating candy. It's just, there was no major upset, there was no problem. I don't know. I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad.
I think for me, it's that mentality that this is temporary.
Yeah.
I'm eating keto, for example, until I can get to my goal weight. And then I'm going to go back to the way that I used to eat. I'm going to go back to Chick-fil-A. I'm going to go back to Starbucks drinks, to sweet tea. I'm going to go back to how I used to eat once I get to my destination. But what ends up happening is you go back sooner.
Yeah.
And so you're never going back.
I'm more conscious now of the fact that the wheels are starting to wobble sometimes.
Yeah, slippery slope.
Yeah, slippery slope. And I correct it. I'm never going to say never. I've fallen off the wagon too many times to say it could never happen again. But
it's only failure if you give up.
Yes, Christmas Day we decided, independently we decided we were going to...
We talk about it.
Yeah.
Though. And this is why it's important. I'm very blessed to have a spouse who is walking this journey at the same time. We're on our own journeys, but we're able to encourage one another.
And it makes it easier to eat the same things.
Talk to one another about it and challenge one another.
But now I've lost my thread.
You were talking about Christmas Day.
Yeah, we decided that we weren't going to be so conscious of carbs. Not go crazy. I wasn't going to buy candy.
I wasn't going to binge.
Yeah. But we had, I think I had a raisin peeled cookie and I had some crackers.
Mince pie. We had a piece of mince pie.
The problem for me in the past has always been that one day turning into 2 days, 3 days. But, like the wheels fall off and it rolls down the hill, catches fire and blows up.
Right.
But this time
become a detour in the journey.
The very next day I fasted again.
Went right back at it.
Yeah, I didn't let it creep in.
Did you lose any weight Christmas week?
I don't know. My wife won't let me weigh myself.
He's too upset. He weighs himself like 5 times a day.
Look, you never know when something could happen.
It's like once a week.
What if one of my double chins fell off?
I'll let you know. I'll find it on the floor.
My ceviche.
So did we talk about what you've learned, what you've done? Oh, the mental health. So you're working on this mental health. What's the other thing that you've done differently this time?
I realised that keeping your body moving is important. I wasn't so much a couch potato as a couch sloth. I would get out of bed, get on the couch, TV would go on, and then if binge watching was an Olympic sport, I would have been a gold medalist for Britain, which we don't get many, so. But now I'm a lot more active. I don't, like if the trash can is empty and I'm walking by it, I'll do it. The dogs need feeding, I'll do it. Instead of calling the kids or thinking I'll do that later, I tend to do things, you know, because I realise that, yeah, I just like doing things more.
And you also started walking.
Yes, walking. I was walking quite a bit. I haven't done so much lately because I've been doing other stuff, but I'm active. You know, I don't sit around half as much as I did.
How's your step goal?
Let's not talk about that. No, it's 2,280 so far. It's nothing. But then I haven't consciously gone.
He was doing really good with step goals. Maybe that's what we should do in the new year.
Maybe.
Because I need to get moving. That's something I.
It's chilly and I'm skinnier now. So.
He does feel the cold a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so and the other thing obviously is the food.
Yeah. I'm
still no soda.
No,
Gave up soda.
I'm never going back there again. I'm not. It's not like I'm just going to go back to one can a day. It's goodbye.
Yeah.
Not doing it. I'm sorry if you've got shares in Coca-Cola.
I really do think, and I've talked about this before on my channel. He is a subscriber. One of my 25 subscribers. I've talked about this before on my channel about addiction and recovery, and how I do think that those of us who have struggled with food and obesity and binge eating, it is like an alcoholic. You know, an alcoholic can't say, I'll just have one drink. And for each of us, it might be something different. Definitely, it's not soda for me, but I think for you, it is soda, even though it's diet soda.
The other problem is an alcoholic can avoid alcohol. A drug addict can avoid drugs. We can't avoid food. You have to get some calories from somewhere.
Yeah, you have to eat something.
So it's not like an alcoholic can be like, I'm just going to drink beer, because that's not as bad as whiskey. We have to eat something, so you've got to make the right choice. Whereas, I'm not diminishing other people's struggles with different addictions, and I abuse food the same way people abuse drugs or alcohol. But like I say, I'm not diminishing other people's struggles. They're equally as hard. But with food, it's difficult because you have to eat something and you have to make the right choices instead of just abstaining. And I'm not saying it's easier to abstain, but it's less complicated, I guess.
But it's having that recognition that carbonated beverages are a trigger for you.
They are. Like Splenda is another one. I don't want to demonize Splenda. I love it, but I was almost getting to the point where I was sniffing it. No, I'm just kidding. But
he uses a lot of.
But I've cut that back, and I don't know if it's helping with weight loss, but I think it's helping me with my sweetness addiction, because I was making my tea and coffee so sweet that I think that my taste buds wanted sweet, and so it was harder. So I'm backing that off slowly.
Do you think you'll ever give it up totally?
You can't make me.
I'm just a question. It's your choice.
It's just a question, she said.
You
married men, no, there's nothing. There's no such thing as just a question. Anyway, probably not. Okay. I think I may switch to something different. I know I like tea with cream and sugar, because
Splenda.
Sweet then, sweet and creamy. Because I do need to tell you that iced tea is an abomination.
Iced tea is an abomination.
It is an abomination.
I love iced tea. I like hot tea too.
They discovered it by the Boston Tea Party when they threw their tea in the harbour. Someone went swimming and they were like, that's how iced tea was discovered.
Okay.
Truth.
All right. In case you didn't know, my husband's British. Well, he's American now, but he was born in England.
Can't prove it. Actually, I've got American blood too.
He does.
I definitely have things that I can't have a little bit of, like not even on a treat day. Candy's one, I think. Cheez-Its. Not just any cracker, in particular Cheez-Its.
The brand.
Cheddar Jack Cheez-Its.
It's his drug of choice.
Seriously, that was... I should have bought shares, but yeah, there are certain things I can't just have a little bit of, because it will be a slippery slope, as we call it. There are certain things I miss, but yeah, no, I like keto food. I like eggs. I love bacon and ham and
Cheese.
cheese. Yeah, so it's good for me in that respect.
Brussels sprouts.
Yeah, I'm good, but yeah, there are things that I can't just have a little taste of. Because I like if you had a large bar of chocolate, most people could just have a square, and that could be there like once a day. They could, like she can have something in the cupboard and have a little square of it, and it annoys me terribly because I want to go eat it all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was definitely a binge eater in that respect. Like if I had whatever the size candy bar was, I had to eat it.
Yeah.
I couldn't just have a little bit. I don't do a little bit.
What are some things that you're looking forward to with your new body?
Well, Calvin Klein hasn't called yet about the underwear modelling, but you know, call me. No, I just not hurting, not being in pain. Like when we go to Disney or if we go to Busch Gardens.
Gardens of the Galaxy.
Not that, no. That's another story that I told my therapist about. Anywho.
So being able to go, because you couldn't ever walk around a park.
No, I'd always be looking for the first bench. That was the thing. I'd be like, where's the bench? Where can I find somewhere to sit down? And I'm sure maybe some of you can relate to that, even if it's not for overweight reasons. But you know, I'm looking forward to wearing clothes that I'm not looking to camouflage my body anymore. I always wore baggy clothes because I had this misconception that if it was baggy you couldn't tell I was fat.
It was camouflage.
Yeah, but it really wasn't.
No,
it was
just
just
a fat
baggy.
guy in baggy clothes. You were looking forward to. You already are wearing smaller sizes now.
Yes, I was 4X and now I'm in a 2X.
It's almost like we can buy you clothes at
regular
places.
That was my big thing when I had surgery the first time and lost 225 pounds. I could go to Target.
Yes,
and
buy the men's department.
And not go in the special department.
They don't have a big men's in Target anyway.
2X is what they do, that's it.
Or when you go to Disneyland, you can buy
buy a t-shirt.
A t-shirt because they only go up to 2X.
Yeah, and if you go to Disney, go to the Walmart near Disney. It's much cheaper, essentially. But yeah, you know, and I'm looking forward to not being so conscious. I'm already not as conscious. So yeah, and just being healthier in general, not waiting for the heart.
You got your bike down.
Yes, I got my bike down, pumped up the tyres. That got me out of breath.
So you're gonna ride your bike?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride my bike about, and I got my own saddlebags. So,
be more active.
Yeah, just being more active. My kids are at an age where they want to do stuff, and I mean, so I also want to be an example to them instead of being like, well, Daddy doesn't do anything. So we want to get onto the lake more, maybe canoeing or boating or something.
Kayak.
Yeah, but something like that, you know. But we'll see.
What advice would you give if somebody's watching this and they're, 500, 400 pounds?
You got to want to do it for you. There's no point in doing it for someone else. I mean, I happen to have a beautiful wife, but don't do it thinking you're going to get a hot chick like this one, because it's mine. No, you got to want to do it for you, but to steal from another YouTuber, you got to find your why. You need to know why you're doing it. Then, when you have a hard day, you can, whether you write it down or whether it's just up here, but you'll know why you're doing it, and maybe that'll make it a little easier. And forgive yourself, because that's the reason a lot of us, I think, are overweight. We don't forgive ourselves.
You gotta love yourself.
I can't do that.
Little love. You gotta love yourself. That's my channel's mantra here. Love yourself.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, you do.
But anywho,
each failure, because you will have small failures on this journey, but each failure is not final.
No.
And that's the problem, is that
I don't even think really they're failures. They're just hiccups. It's like
the choices that you've made, and we use words like failure, cheat, off plan, all these things. They're just choices you made, And the next choice, you have the opportunity to choose better.
Yeah, and realise you're worth it. That's been hard for me because I've always had a very low self-esteem. It's hard to believe, I know, but you need to realise you're worth it. There's a reason you are the way you are, and you need to figure that out too. You need to figure out why.
Yeah.
But
both whys.
Yes.
Why you got here.
Yes, and why.
Why you want to be.
Yeah, and where you want to be.
Yeah.
I've got an ideal weight in mind, and I'm looking into skin removal surgery. That'll be another video. We'll link it up here.
It's not made yet. You can't link it.
Well, it's not, maybe. I'm not very good at the YouTube stuff, but hey.
You're doing great.
But
do you think you're doing great? Let them know in the comments. And give him a big thumbs up.
Yeah, give me a thumbs up, Rosemary, please. Yeah, just realise, it's a journey of self-improvement, and just be a little bit better every day. Not better for you. Don't do it for anybody else. I know I said I was doing this for my children, but it's because I want to be around to see them grow up. I'm already behind that 8 ball in as much as I'm an old parent. Like I say, figure out your why, and however you best, whether it's in your head or, and it's just an achievement you want to get to. I've got an idea of what weight I want to be, but that's not a hard like a hard limit for me. If I get there and I feel I can go further, I will do that. Like I say, I'm looking into skin removal surgery, not for a few months yet before I start that process, but that'll.
You want to document that on this channel?
If anybody's interested, we can certainly document that and share that. I'm willing to share that part of my journey. So yeah, just figure out your why, write it down, whatever you want to do with it.
It's important to have in those moments where you feel like giving up or discouraged. I think one of the things that, you and I've talked a lot about too is to focus on the process.
Yes.
I think when you have so much weight to lose, it's insurmountable when you're looking at these numbers that are massive.
Yeah, try not to look like when you're driving cross country. Don't think about the destination. Enjoy the journey. Because keto especially can be enjoyable. Once you get through that, the early days of the keto flu or however it affects you, it doesn't. I mean, I had that once bad. Last time didn't really affect me because I was already eating fairly well.
Your body just jumps right into it.
And so, you enjoy the process because it's not a fad. You're not going to do this for 3 months to lose 30 pounds and then never do it again. You need to change the way you live. Yeah.
I never go back. I think I will always intermittent fast.
Yeah.
And
I feel good. I feel good now when I intermittent fast.
You don't get the low blood sugar. You don't get the I need to eat or I'm going to kill somebody. You don't get hangry anymore. I get hangry,
but only because I want to. But just enjoy the process. I mean, you feel good. There are days when you just feel, I guess when it's really, the ketosis is really rocking, you just feel like a superhuman sometimes almost.
Ketones.
Yeah, it's like crack. And it's not weight.
Well, it's energy.
It's just really good.
Yeah,
I think it's how our bodies probably were supposed to function. Because whatever you believe in, but early man, I do not believe didn't have access to too many carbs.
Cheez-Its.
Yeah, there was no like ye olde Cheez-Its. So we ate meat and anything we could grow or catch. It wasn't. They weren't carbs as such. It was like the sweetest thing probably. And I believe in the early days. Yeah, but the fruit was different. I don't think there wasn't bananas and grapes. It was right. But so just enjoy the process. Find out what works for you. It's like I don't monitor my carbs. I just kind of know now.
You were doing your macros for a while.
I was. I haven't done recently. I'm not very good.
I haven't done it either. Me either.
I'm not very good at detail stuff, but if it stopped working, then I'd get back to it again.
Yeah.
You know, like as a reminder. You know, like
as a tool.
If you're going to do a test, you go back and revise. It's kind of like that to keep yourself on the the right track. So.
If you find that you need that tool again.
Yeah, and everybody's different.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
Just that I love you.
I love you too.
Someone's got to.
Thank you for joining me, my special guests. I'm so glad you were here with us.
You're welcome. I'm
on my channel.
I mean, this isn't something I would have done months ago.
Feeling his thin thigh.
Ow.
It's me squeezing his leg. I'm so glad you're here. If you guys have any questions for Mark, let me know in the comments down below. He is a subscriber, so he can see them too.
I'm an open book.
Thank you for joining us on our journey, and we'll check back in. If you like this video, give me a big thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you get notifications every time I post. And as always, until my next video, I want you to remember to love one another, but most importantly,
Love yourself.
thank you. Have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.